Welcome back. We are looking at statistics and we want to get our variance and standard deviation. So we have a question on the board. This question is coming from the Examination Council of Zambia School Certificate for 2020, and it is talking about the distribution of lengths of plots for 90 farmers. So we are told to calculate the standard deviation. Now, we want to calculate the standard deviation using our scientific calculator. So with me, I have a scientific calculator, FX Casio FX 82 MS. So this is a simple calculator that I'll use to calculate the standard deviation, mean, and variance. So the question was brought without the midpoints. So the first thing that you need to do is to get the midpoints for each one of the classes. Each one of the classes. You can see this row for the midpoint was not in the original question. So we just had to get the midpoints, and we know the way we get the midpoint. We say 1 plus 5, 6 divided by 2, 3, 6 plus 10, 16 divided by 2, 8, 11 plus 15 divided by 2, 13, 16 plus 20, 36 divided by 2, 18. So likewise, we do for all the classes, and that is how come we had all these midpoints. So once we are done with the midpoints, all we need to do is to now pick on our scientific calculators. And when we pick on our scientific calculator, Casio FX 82 MS, even those of you with the chemicals, as long as your calculator looks like this, FX 82, you can easily follow the proceedings and you can easily use your calculator to get the standard deviation, mean, and variance. So once you have the midpoints, the frequencies, and the classes, you now need to feed the frequencies and the midpoints on your scientific calculator. So what you need to feed your scientific calculator are just the midpoints and the frequencies. So the way you feed your calculator, you say mod 2. So on your calculator, there is a key called mod here. So you press mod and you press 2. So when you do this, you see on your screen, you see SD appear on top of your screen. So when you see SD appear on top of your screen, then your calculator would have already been in a statistical mode, and you can easily start entering the information, feeding the calculator, the midpoints, and the frequencies. So now the way you feed your calculator, the midpoints and the frequencies, you say, of course, you say mod 2, mod 2. So once you say mod 2, you see that SD, and you start entering the midpoints. So entering the midpoints, you say, the first midpoint is 3, so you say 3 m plus. So you say 3 m plus. There is a button m plus here. So when you say 3 m plus, then your calculator would have entered the first midpoint as 3. So you do the same for all the midpoints. Then you say 8 m plus, 13 m plus, 18 m plus, 23 m plus, 28 m plus, 33 m plus. So that is how you enter the midpoints on your scientific calculators. So you say 3 m plus, 8 m plus, 13 m plus, 18 m plus. You repeat that for all the midpoints. And once you do that, you can now start updating the frequencies for each one of the midpoints. So now the way you update the midpoints, the frequencies, so update frequencies. So now the way you update your frequencies, you say arrow down, arrow down. So arrow down, there's this arrow here. There's this button for arrows. 4 arrows. Now you go for the one with the arrow down here. So first arrow down, so you press arrow down times 2. So arrow down, first arrow down, you see a 3. Arrow down, you see frequency 1 is 1. This 1 is the default frequency. So you need to change it to 0. So changing it to 0, you say, you press your 0, then you say equals. So you would have updated the frequency for midpoint 3 to 0. Again, you say arrow down. When you arrow down, you say 8. Arrow down again, you say frequency 2. Frequency 2 is 1. Frequency 2, 1. But here we have 2. This is the default frequency, so we need to update it to 2. So updating it, we say 2 equals. So once we say that, then we would have updated. So you need to do that for all the frequencies. So again, arrow down, frequency 3, there is a 1 here, we need to update it to 11. So we say 11 equals. Okay, again, arrow down 18, arrow down 1. This is the default one, we need to update it to 44. So we say 44 equals. Arrow down 23, arrow down 1. We need to update this one to 31. So we say 31 equals. Arrow down 28, arrow down 1. We need to update this one to 8. So we say 8 equals. Arrow down 33, arrow down 1. We need to update this one to 4. So we say 4 equals. Okay, so we would have now entered all the information. Now, for the sake of checking, you can clear your calculator AC. When you clear your calculator AC, then you can come to arrow down. You start checking. So you say arrow down, you see your 3 here as the first midpoint. Frequency 0. Arrow down 8. Frequency 2. Arrow down 13. Frequency 11. Arrow down 18. Frequency 44. Arrow down 23. Frequency 31. Arrow down 28. Frequency 8. Arrow down 33. Frequency 4. Okay, so we have correctly entered our information. Now, getting the mean and the standard deviation, all we need to say, shift 2. So we need to say shift 2. Okay, so once we say shift 2, what will appear on our calculator, we shall see this and this and this. Yes, 1, 2, 3. So we are going to see this display on our calculator. Now, this one is for the mean. So when you are looking for the mean, just say 1 equals, and you'll be able to see your 20.2. Okay, clear your calculator. Again, you repeat, you say shift 2. You see this one again. Now, when you are looking for the standard deviation, you need to say 2. This one here is the standard deviation. So when you do that one, you get your standard deviation 4.965883607, and 4.97 to 3 significant figures. So basically, this is your standard deviation. Now, for the sake of that exam, and for the sake of showing your working in that exam, you need the summations here. You need the summations. Now, for you to get the summation so that you show in your booklet how you got your mean as this, how you got your standard deviation as this, you need to get the summations so that you come and substitute here in the formulas and get them like that. So now, the way you get your summations, you clear your calculator. Then this time you say shift 1. So when you say shift 1, what you are going to see, you'll be able to see this display on your calculator. You'll be able to see this display on your calculator. Now, when you are looking for the sum of fx squared, it is equivalent to 1. So press your 1 and say equals. So you would have seen your 43 to 70. Okay, you clear? When you are looking for sum of fx, again you say shift 1. Shift 1. The screen shows this. Now, sum of fx is equivalent to number 2. So press 2 and say equals. You see your 2020. And finally, when you are looking for the total frequency, again you say shift 1. And the total frequency is equivalent to number 3. So you say 3 equals. And you see your 100. Yes. Now suppose you want to show you're working for how you got the mean. So you simply say mean is equal to, you can see, sum of fx, you say 2020. Sum of f is 100. And this will give you 20.2. Okay, so you would have shown how the mean is the way it is. Okay, so that is how you do it. Now, suppose you want to show how come your standard deviation is 4.97. You have your formula there, so you say SD is equal to. Now, when you look at your formula, you have sum of fx square. Fx square is 43,270 over sum of f 100 minus x bar mean. Mean you got it at 20.2, so you put in 20.2 and you square. And now, showing your working, when you divide this one, you say you have 432.7. When you do this one, you get that one. When you square 20.2, you are getting 408.04. Okay, so basically, when you subtract those two, you are getting 24.66. And when you get the square root, you get this 4.965883607, which is 4.97 to 3 significant figures. Okay, so basically, this is how simply you use your scientific calculator, a simple Casio FX82 MS. But this calculator is equivalent to the chemicals. As long as you are able to see FX82, you can follow the procedure and you can get our standard deviation and the mean. Now, suppose you want to get also your variance. All you need to do is to get your standard deviation and you square it. When you square it, you are going to get 24.66. So actually this one is your variance. Or you can get it before finding the square root. So basically, this is how you get your mean, standard deviation, and the variance using your scientific calculator. Thank you very much for viewing. Subscribe to my channel for more videos, interesting ones. Thank you very much.